Top of the morning to you. It's Thursday the 4th of December 2025 and I'm looking across at Carrickfergus Castle, best preserved Norman castle in Ireland, I believe. Not the biggest Norman castle that de Courcy ever built, but certainly probably the best preserved castle. And I'm not going into it today. I'm here looking up towards Market Square. And there's a wee fountain dating from 1881, a nicely preserved architectural feature. So this is Market Square, and I'm heading up to St Nicholas's Church, which is up on top of the hill, and it apparently dates from Norman times as well. So this is Market Square, and there's the Christmas trees already up, and there's quite a bit of information on the wall here. I got talking to two guys from Sheffield, and they were looking at the Carrickfergus history timetable, or timeline. So here's ancient Carrickfergus and how it got its name. And this part of Northern Ireland was of course very much associated with Scotland. Hope you can read that. This is very good. And there's the Northmen or Normans mentioned. I think there's a film called that. It's quite action-packed film. The Northman, filmed near here. And this is all telling you about John de Courcy, who built Carrickfergus Castle. So I haven't got time to read this. And there's the inside of Carrickfergus Castle. And there's the outside, the way it would have been. In fact, the way it still is, except for the huts. And some old coinage back there. We're moving into the 1200s. And there's Edward the Bruce mentioned. And many Gaelic chieftains see his invasion as a last chance to destroy the Anglo-Normans that had come in, and they joined his cause. And Edward the Bruce's soldiers attacking the castle. And the castle was besieged, of course. The town is burned by the forces of the Gaelic chieftain Niall O'Neill, demonstrating how the power of the Anglo-Normans was waning by 1384. This is brilliant. Carrickfergus has been burned and plundered and invaded and all the rest of it. Desperate. Life in medieval Carrick. Dog on the menu. Oh dear. Eating this food. Oh, during the sieges. Oh dear, dear. 1250 Our 1568 town is given a charter by Queen Elizabeth I, replacing an earlier one. And again, burnings and battles going on. Shirley Boy MacDonald captures the town. Various massacres going on. Oh dear, oh. It's powerful, powerful history, this place. Sir John Chichester appointed Governor of Carrickfergus. We have Chichester Street and all the rest of it in Belfast. Very prestigious family. Joymount Palace mansion built by Arthur Chichester in 1610. Look at that. We were talking about, there's a big section on Sir Arthur Chichester. Most important figure in the development of Carrickfergus after John de Courcy. This is great stuff. 1614, St Nicholas's Church is rebuilt after a long period of decay, and it is still largely the church we see today. So it dates from Norman times, but it was rebuilt in 1614. And Carrickfergus was important long before Belfast. Belfast was a nothing in comparison to Carrickfergus. And it all started to go wrong in 1637 for Carrickfergus. The major port in Ulster sells its custom rights to Belfast. It would prove a costly mistake as Belfast increasingly becomes a competitor for trade. 1641, the native Irish rebel against the Crown. A conflict spreads right throughout Ulster. What a surprise. Just fighting and pillaging and wrecking and revenge and massacres and burnings. I presume this is a wee plaque. So we're going to go up to see St Nicholas's Church in a minute or two, but there's another series of plaques here. And famous folks from this neck of the woods. Jonathan Swift, author of Gulliver's Travels. Church of Iron minister at Kilroot near Carrickfergus. Andrew Jackson. The parents of Andrew Jackson, the 7th President of the United States, lived in Bonnybefore, just outside Carrickfergus. Jackson, who was born in 1767, just 2 years after they landed in America, was a famous general who defeated the British at the Battle of New Orleans in 1815. President for 2 terms. Not universally liked. Louis McNeice came to Carrickfergus aged 2. His family initially, that's the poet, Louis McNeice of course. Family initially lived in a town overlooking the harbour, where McNeice recalled watching sailing boats on the loch before moving to the rectory. Much of his poetry draws inspiration from his childhood in the town. Part of the renowned group of poets that included Stephen Spender and W.H. Auden, and Richard Caine. Don't know, I've never heard of him before. Governor of Minorca. There we go. So this is all about the William landings. This is the history timeline going on. Looks as if there's the last witchcraft trial in Ireland takes place in Carrickfergus. 8 women are convicted of bewitching a young girl and sentenced to a year in prison, and looks like some of them are being hung there. Right, here's the history of Carrickfergus from 1689 onwards, 1690 of course. William landed in Carrickfergus. And there's Richard Kane mentioned. And one of the most dramatic events in its history, Carrickfergus becomes embroiled in the 7 Years' War, 1756 to 1763, between France and England. And then the United Irishmen, William Orr, a member of the United Irishmen, is accused of administering the oath of the organisation to a soldier. Trial held in Carrickfergus. Attracts international attention and much criticism when Orr is found guilty and condemned to hang at Gallows Green. And he was hung. And they all shouted, "Remember Orr." There's the Battle of Antrim remembered. Lots of photographs up above. Fisherman's Quay is built to serve the local fishing fleet. Robert Rainey, stationed at the castle, fell in love with a local girl called beseiged. She agreed to marry him but didn't tell him that she had another admirer, the brother of his commanding officer. When the two men met, Robert stabbed his rival to death. Unfortunately, Timothy Lavery, another soldier who looked very like Robert, was mistaken for the murderer and convicted of the crime. As he was being hanged, he vowed to haunt the castle evermore. Nicknamed Button Cap for his habit of wearing a button, a circular decoration on his soldier's cap, his ghost is said to appear by a deep well in the castle. So that's the ghost of Button Cap in Carrickfergus Castle.
You just go the whole wall,
The David Legg, the first ship to be built in Carrickfergus, is launched. So there's shipbuilding happening at Carrickfergus. And there are salt deposits. There's Belfast and Ballymena Railway opens its main line between two towns, including stops at Randallstown and Carrickfergus. And there's the Industrial Revolution hits Carrickfergus as well. Antrim artillery. Oh, this is terrific information. 1855, the Carrickfergus Gas Works opened. Carrickfergus Larne Railway opens, that's 1862. Don't let anything stop you from coming to Carrickfergus. Paul Rogers was the renowned shipbuilder. The Old North Gate, 19th century. People of the town gather in their thousands to cheer RMS Titanic as she sails up Belfast Loch. After 750 years of continuous military occupation, the longest of any castle in Ireland, Carrickfergus Castle is transferred by the War Department to the Ministry of Finance for preservation. That was in 1928. Town Hall, the big lamp, Carrickfergus, at the end of 19th century. And photos taken of air raid shelters in Carrickfergus during World War II. American Rangers in Carrickfergus, where they were originally inaugurated. At Sunnylands Camp. There's a war memorial located at Joymount in Carrickfergus town centre. And here's the American Rangers, mentioned again. Based at Sunnylands Camp, modelled on the British Commandos. And of course, if you watched my videos, you'll know all that. Yes, this has got Boyne here. So there you go. Upward and onward.